Part 8.2, from the internet to web. We just complete the internet part. Now we want to move to the web topic. All right. First, so let's look at the, for what reason the web was developed. All right. We know the internet is used as an infrastructure. Okay? So after internet was created, so the next thing is application. What applications can be used to run on the internet? Okay? Yeah. So the first important thing for the application, email. How important is email? Think about that. Okay? Although right now nobody feels email application is very complicated, but actually we can treat the email thing, technology, the development of that technology as big as revolutionary, that big. All right. And its impact is big. It can provide timely transmission of messages. Think about decades ago. So here, let me not mention the precise year, decades ago. How big is this? Timely transmission of messages. Okay. All right. Now, the year 1971. The internet was created 1969, after 2 years. 2 years after internet was created. 1971, this guy, Ray Tomlinson, the picture, okay, developed this first email system. The old computer he used to develop email. So you can see, very old. Yeah. Another big thing, he used the @ sign. So right now, everybody, feel very natural using this @ sign. But at that time, Ray Tomlinson, he picked this symbol. Just he liked this symbol and picked it. Okay? Yeah. So you can see using this symbol, he can specify the destination server. So that's simple. Okay? Yeah. So look at this picture. Yeah. He's very proud of this @ sign, @ symbol. Okay? All right. Yeah. Another interesting thing is Tomlinson was hired, for some, technology job, but his boss didn't give me this problem to solve. No. He just solved it for his own interest. He felt this is a very useful application, and he developed it. So you can see, many people develop the new technologies in this way. Okay? So nobody told them to do it. They just want to develop. Okay. All right. Now, after the email was created, invention of the World Wide Web, another big story. Okay. this big story came from another common phenomena. Yeah. So we saw this phenomena time and time again, but sometimes it stimulates great invention, but most of the time it's not. Okay, so let's look at that. Frustration of Tim Berners-Lee. The author, the inventor, his name is Tim Berners-Lee. This is the inventor, Tim Berners-Lee, an English engineer and a computer scientist. So you can see his background was, right one, the background, engineer and computer scientist. Think about this background to develop the World Wide Web technology. Okay. So what was his frustration? He observed inefficiency in finding information stored on different computers. So at that time, we know internet was developed. Okay? So the computers are connected. Okay? But even all those computers are connected, but finding informations on those computers in the network, very hard. How to solve that problem? Okay. This frustration, hard to find information, stimulate his, interest, his invention, want to solve this problem. All right. He tried in different ways. In 1989, he submitted a proposal, okay, to some agency, technology community. The title, Information Management, a proposal. He described his idea, plan, all the key points in that proposal. Submit to the community. Yeah. What was the result? So let's see. What was the result? The key idea of his proposal. So let's look at the key idea of the proposal. It was described in a book about the whole story. Okay. All right, so look at this paragraph was selected from the book. Okay. Describe the main idea of the World Wide Web. The references in this document, so, we want to, exchange documents, read the documents, but the documents there are many references in the documents. How do we go to those references quickly? In a convenient way, fast way, or by one click, we can jump to the reference immediately. That's the idea. So simple, so natural. Okay, being associated with network address. Each reference is associated with a network address. Hyperlink. Think about that. Right now, everybody knows that hyperlink, network address, the domain, URL, network address, IP address, right? Those things. But at that time, that's extremely the new thing, new invention at that time. All right, so one click, you can go there. That's really the essence of this whole idea. One click, you can get there. Okay. Yeah. All right, but after he put this idea in his proposal here, the next thing, implementation, to make this idea happen. That's the most important thing. Implementation. How do you implement it? That's, you can think about at that time, this time, okay, 1989, this time. Yeah, people use this as the invention time, 1989, yeah. But actually that's the proposal time. That's the proposal time. That's not the implementation time. You can think about it. It took some time to implement it. Yeah, took some time to implement it. Yeah, but right now people use this proposal time as the invention time. Okay, yeah, all right. Now let's connect to that story to another famous story. Isaac Newton's apple story. So everybody knows that. They have the similarity because think about how many people's got a similar experience of Isaac Newton. Apples drop on their heads. How many people? Hundreds of thousands of, possibly, right? But only Isaac Newton, after the apple hit, then, start thinking about why apple hit his head. Think about that. Then he developed or discover this law of universal gravitation. Okay? This law of universal gravitation. And the formula. Look at the formula. Okay? So here, I put this story here. Try to compare the similarity between Tim Berners-Lee, his situation regarding World Wide Web, and Isaac Newton's experience related to law of the universal gravitation. That's very interesting. Yeah. Remember the frustration of Tim Berners-Lee. Here, this is the frustration of Isaac Newton. Frustration. Sort of frustration. Yeah. So you can see frustration. So many times could, stimulate some big thing, big invention happen. All right. Okay. All right. The essence of Tim's idea. Tim Berners-Lee, the idea. Essence, what's that? Marry hypertext to the internet. Internet infrastructure was there, so everybody can use it. Now, how to combine that hypertext, the reference, the hyperlink, connect to the reference with one click to internet. Okay? Yeah. He need a lot of help from the community, people nearby. Yeah. He tried to talk to many of his colleagues, but the response not very warm. Most people just ignore it. Okay? He had repeatedly suggested the members of both technical communities, internet community, hypertext community, both communities related, right? Yeah. that a marriage between the two technologies was possible. But nobody cared about it. Okay? Why? People were too busy at that time. They couldn't find time to do this kind of thing. Okay? So only finally he had to do all the implementation by himself. Okay. But here I want to mention, actually there is one of his colleagues, finally helped him big time. So we will talk about that person in our 8.3. Next topic, we will, mention his name. But no one took up his invitation, rejected, or kindly rejected. Okay? Yeah. All right. Because to really appreciate this big idea, this is a huge idea, but you need to appreciate. You need to feel it is extremely important. To have that, it's not easy. So you need some perception to appreciate that great idea. And finally, he did a project by himself with the help of that colleague. We will talk about next video. But here, because this story, in that article, it didn't mention his colleague. Because I searched several articles, tried to put the pieces together. All right. Okay. Now the time. So the World Wide Web went live that time. 1990. So 1989, 1990. Christmas, the end of 1990. Okay, so you can see how much time he used to develop this technology. Berners-Lee had built all the tools necessary for the working web. All the tools. What are those tools? All the tools necessary, all the pieces putting together. And most of those pieces not available at that time. So he need to develop piece by piece. Not very long, just a little more than 1 year. You can see, a little more than 1 year, he complete that project. Okay. So let's look at that project. Was all right. So we will see that next. Some of the information we will see that in our next video. Okay. Now, next slide, I want to compare the difference between internet and the web. So what's the main difference between internet and the web? Okay, internet versus web. Because some people may get confused. So if you talk to people, ordinary people in the world, many of them may treat internet and the web the same thing. No difference. But for our computer science people, we know they are different. So here, let's compare their difference. All right. From this picture, it tells some difference. So you can see, if you can see the small font, the internet connecting computers. Internet connecting computers. Okay. The web connecting people. What's the difference? The internet connecting computers. Infrastructure computer to hardware, connecting the hardware, right? Yeah. So, web deal with the information, the data. People exchange data in the community. So web connecting people. That's the difference. So think about that. Okay? Properties of the internet. First, it is a global network of networks. There are a global network of networks because in the world there are many small networks. Okay? Each company, they have their own networks. But internet connect all those networks in the world to form a global network. That's the first property of internet. Second, a networking infrastructure. So it's an infrastructure. Okay? So, we need to use that infrastructure. So we build and we need to use that infrastructure. Here I like to use this picture, highway infrastructure, similar to things like this, highway. So people need to use highway. So then cars running on highway, right? Pretty much like this situation we have here. Right? Right. The internet is decentralized. In the previous video, we talked about decentralization. Big idea in internet. Decentralized. Or independent. Each computer on the internet is independent. That property, very important. Remember? Withstand attack. The purpose of that independence property. Yeah. Each internet computer is independent. Yeah. So, has connected. These two properly connected. Okay. All right. Supports many applications. Web, email, to a big one. Yeah. Instant messaging. Right now, so many. Yeah. Countless many applications. Right? Yeah. Now, properties of the web. Collection of information. Accessed via the internet. So our focus, when we talk about web, on the information, collection of information, data, documents, references, hyperlinks, those things. Not the infrastructure. Okay? Like cars running on highway. So cars and highway, they're different, right? So everybody can see it. Cars, highways, they are different. So internet, web, they are different. Okay? Yeah. Makes use of hypertext to access various forms of information. Yeah. That's the key idea. One sentence gives the key idea of this web technology. Okay? This whole web concept. All right. Okay? All right. So that's our 8.2. So 8.3, so we will go more details. Okay. Yeah.